guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank you all for joining the Bhakti Sangha conference call today. Let us move to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all have joined the call this morning?
Hare Krishna, Nanda Priya, Narmada Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nandapriya, Narmada Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Aditi Devi Dasi in Canada, Edmonton.
Hare Krishna, Aditi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Welcome to
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna and the Priya Narmada Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All the glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Sanita Ramya from Sharjah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nityaramya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna, welcome to the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Nandapriya Narmada Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, and all the glories to the assembled devotees. This is Manjri Leela Devi Dasi from Naperville. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj, all glories to Radha Madhava. Please accept my humble obeisance to you and respect to Zoom devotees. I am Charana Lakshmi from Malaysia. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Charana Srini Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna, welcome to the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to somebody devotees. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna, welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna, are there any other devotees?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Nandapriya Narmada Mataji. This is Kamadati Dasi from Bhakti. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kamadika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna, welcome to the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Narmada Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karuna Devi Dasi from Nepal.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Karuna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna, welcome to the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Nandapriya Narmada Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devi Dasi from Raleigh.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji, shall start. Hare Krishna, are there any other devotees who would like to introduce themselves? Hare Krishna, welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Keshavanand Prabhuji with us to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 2nd chapter, sloka number 29. Before handing over the call to Prabhuji, I would like to ask Aditi Mataji to go ahead and give a brief introduction about Prabhuji. Mataji, please take it.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam devotees. I'm once again very pleased to introduce His Grace Keshavanand Prabhuji this morning, and this is a brief introduction for him. Dr. Keshavanand was His Grace Dr. Keshavanand Prabhuji was a doctor for many years, and he's now a practicing monk. Since the last 20 years, he has conducted extensive research and authored books in the field of science and spirituality. He feels the rift between science and spirituality must disappear to bring peace in the world. If spirituality is superstitious and a myth, science is materialistic and atheistic. A new approach to life is needed today that can bring the best of both. Science must re spirituality and be humble to admit its defects, flaws, and ignorance. And spirituality must base itself on sound, scientific, and rational ideas. Dr. Keshavanand Prabhuji has studied both Vedic and Western philosophy. Besides learning Sanskrit, he also learned Bengali, Gujarati, Marathi, and Kannada to know about other traditions. His persistent endeavor in the field of science and spirituality has enabled him to come up with seminars on diverse topics like science and the Vedas, mind and the machines, science fails to explain life, consciousness and beyond, etc., that he has presented in various colleges in India, Europe, and America. Under the guidance of his spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami, he has also started a Gurukula, a traditional system of Vedic education in Punjab, India, where children learn the ancient Vedic culture and values. Besides, he has started a farm community. The community has a traditional way of living with mud huts and thatched roofs, with cows, and of course, farming. The communities will set a model to the world to show how to live a life based on the principles of simple living, high thinking. Dandavat Pranam to His Grace Keshavanand Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Over to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the introduction. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept a humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving your very valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, please take over, Prabhuji. Welcome to the call.
Okay. Is my voice clear to all of you?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Please.
Fine. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 2nd chapter, 49th verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 7 to 49. Atha nityam anityam va neha shochanti tadvidha nanyatha shakyate kartum swabhava shochitam iti. Translation. Those who have full knowledge of self-realization, who know very well that spirit, soul, eternal is, whereas the body is perishable, are not overwhelmed by lamentation. Persons who lack knowledge of self-realization certainly lament. Therefore, it is difficult to educate a person in illusion. I think I'll read synonyms. Can you just show that? Just show the synonyms. It's required. Atha, therefore, Nityam, the eternal spirit soul, Anityam, temporary material body, Va, or na, not, Iha, in this world. Shochanti, they lament for. Tadvida, those who advance knowledge of body and soul, Na, not, Annitha, otherwise. Shakyata is able, Kartam, to do, so Bhava, the nature, Shochatam, to those prone of lamentation, iti thus. Yeah, the idea Prabhupada is saying in translation, that who are full of knowledge, they do not lament, while people who lack knowledge, they lament. That's the idea there. Therefore, it is difficult to educate such a person in illusion. It's the same thing as Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? Dhira satrana muyati. What's that? Wise do not lament for dead and so what's that verse?
Is it Dehi Nosmin Yatha Dehe?
No.
Asociannasma sociastum pragyavadasa bhasase gatasum bhagatasam.
That one also, yeah, that's true. And also, yeah, and like this, there are many other verses. Purport Srila Prabhupada writes, according to Mimamsa philosophers, everything is eternal, Nitya, and according to Sankhya philosophers, everything is Mithya or Nitya. Nonetheless, without real knowledge of Atma, such philosophers must be bewildered and must continue to lament as Shudras. Srila Sukadeva Goswami therefore said to Parikshit, Shrotavyadini Rajendra Ninam Santi Sahasrasha Pashyatam Atma Tattva Griheshu Grihamedinam. Those who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subjects for hearing in human society, O Emperor. For ordinary persons engaged in material activities, there are many subject matters to understand, because such persons do not understand self-realization. One must therefore be educated in self-realization so that under any circumstances in life, he will remain steady in his vows. Okay. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Gurvani. So, the idea here is, Srila Prabhupada says that there are many kind of philosophers. Mimamsa philosophers who are Karm Kandi, Mimamsa philosophers, or Karm Kandi philosophers. Karm Kandi philosophers, they what they do is they believe that everything is eternal. For them, for Mimamsa philosophers, is material world is real, and that's interesting, isn't it? We also believe material world is real. They believe material world is real, but they think that this material world is nitya, it is eternal. It is real and eternal. That's what Mimamsa philosophers think. Real and eternal. So in that sense, we are close to Mimamsa philosophers, because we also think that this world is real and eternal. Eternal in the sense of, but our sense of eternality and their sense of eternality is different. For Mimamsa philosophers, there is no pralay. There is no destruction. The world keeps on going and it keeps on going. That's all. And that's why they say it's nitya. But for us, the concept of eternality is different, because we also believe in pralay. There is destruction of this material world. So in that sense, this world is temporary, but nitya, because when this world is destroyed, it exists in form of energy and not in form of matter. Prakriti. For them, the concept of nitya is nitya, and for us, the concept is it's nitya, it's eternal, but it's temporary. For them, this material world is nitya, but it is permanent. That's how it goes. So that's why Krishna says Ashashvatam, isn't it? Ashashvatam means what? Ashvatam means temporary, not temporary. So yeah, so for Mimamsa philosophers, it is Shashvat Nitya, but for us, it is Ashashvat Nitya. That's how it goes. It's interesting. According to Sankhya philosophers, everything is Mithya. Now that's also very interesting. According to Sankhya philosophers, everything is Mithya or Anitya. So Sankhya, there are two types of Sankhya philosophers. One believe in, some Sankhya philosophers are Mayavadi, and another Sankhya philosophers are Brahmavadi. So Mayavadi Sankhya philosophers believe that everything is Mithya. It's not real. It is Mithya, it is illusion. That means whatever you see, it's not reality, it is illusion, it's a matrix. So we think this is real, we think this hand is real, we think I am real. In fact, even we think I am real, but I is also illusion. It's not there. It's like this word and I is all like a mirage. I mean to say, Sankhya philosophers are, Mayavadi Sankhya philosophers are so extreme that they say even God is also mithya. We can see him, but actually he's not there. So Ishwar, Jeev, Kal, Karm, Prakriti, everything is mithya. So these are Mayavadi Sankhya philosophers. But then there are another philosophers which are Brahmavadi Sankhya philosophers who say this material world is anitya. It is not eternal. It is for some time it is there. So Srila Prabhupada says it is actually impermanent. So the sense of anitya here is not actually the sense of anitya is actually ashashvatam, temporary. So in this sense, Brahmavadi, we are close to Brahmavadi, Mayavadi Sankhya philosophers, because Brahmavadi philosophers think this material world is temporary. We also think it's temporary. So there are two types of Sankhya philosophers. Nonetheless, without real knowledge of Atma, the soul, such philosophers must be bewildered and must continue to lament as Shudras. Now, both of these Sankhya, now Mimamsa philosophers, of course, they do not believe in soul. Mimamsa philosophers, if you ask them, do you believe in soul different from body? They do not believe in that. They are almost close to materialistic philosophy. But of course, they believe in God. So it's not exactly materialistic philosophy. They believe in God, they believe in a controller. But they also believe that God is also under control of time and destiny, karma. So in that sense, Mimamsa philosophers are not materialistic, but at the same time, they are not exactly spiritual because they don't believe in soul. It's like funny philosophy, isn't it? They believe in God, but they don't believe in soul and body. I mean to say, it's almost like let's say, it's almost like Christianity, isn't it? Or maybe Judaism, more close to Judaism. They don't talk about body and soul. They talk about God. Even if some Christians talk about the spirit, soul, and the flesh, they sometimes talk like this, the spirit, soul, and the flesh. But in their philosophy, the soul and flesh are not distinct. For them, we are humans, isn't it? And for them, of course, for Christians, animals don't have soul. That's another thing. If you ask them, animals don't have soul. That's another weird thing. So they're very confused. So Mimamsa philosophers are like that. And Sankhya philosophers, Mayavadi philosophers, they also don't believe in soul. Now, you might be surprised if you might say, well, Mayavadi philosophers talk about soul and body. But actually, if you ask the true Mayavadi philosopher, they might talk about soul and body and God. But actually, they don't believe in soul, because for them, body and soul and God, everything is illusions. So if everything is illusion, then what do you believe in body and soul, isn't it? Then that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Body and soul. Soul is different from body. But you say body is illusion, soul is illusion. So one illusion is different from another illusion. It's like crazy stuff, isn't it? So there are two types of illusion. One is illusion of body, one is illusion of soul, and there are two different illusions, body and soul. And then there's third type of illusion, God. That's another illusion. So there are three illusions. But then if you say there are three illusions, then the point is Mayavadi philosophers, they believe in Advaita Siddhanta. Everything is one. So then what three illusions are doing? And what do you mean by three illusions? It's funny, isn't it? Strict Mayavadism says there is no soul, no body, no God. There is only Nirakar Brahm, Jyoti. We just talk like that. There is soul, body, and God. We just talk like that. So that's also crazy stuff, isn't it? So that's why Prabhupada says, without real knowledge of soul, Prabhupada says, these people, Sankhya philosophers, Mayavadis, They have some concept of soul, but they don't have real knowledge of soul. Real knowledge of soul is independent of body. It is real, it is nitya, and it is a part and parcel of God. That's real knowledge, complete knowledge. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. So that's why Prabhupada says, without real knowledge of this, Prabhupada doesn't write. Prabhupada doesn't write here without the knowledge of. Prabhupada doesn't say like that, because if you talk to them, Sankhya philosophers, they'll talk about soul. Then you might say Prabhupada is wrong. They'll talk about soul in their lectures, but no, they don't have real knowledge of soul. Such philosophers must be bewildered and continue to lament as Shudras, and they must lament as Shudras. The word here uses na iha shochanti. Shochanti means lamenting. So they must lament as Shudras. They are lamenting. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Because they must lament. Now Srila Prabhupada writes such philosophers as Shudras, isn't it? That's crazy. Because that's a very big term, calling so big philosophers who know Vedas, who know Sanskrit, and who are Pitha Adhipati, and he called them Shudras. This is what Prabhupada is. Only Prabhupada can say like that in his commentary. And that's why we follow Prabhupada. He's to the point, straightforward, isn't it? And fearless. And Prabhupada is writing such things in purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is distributed all over the world. And Prabhupada was not even shy to use these terms in Pandal programs. It's like that. So that is quite a big statement, isn't it? They are like Shudras. Why people call them Shudras? Because they must continue to lament. They always lament. Now you might say Mayavadi philosophers don't lament. If you go to any Mayavadi, they'll be sitting in meditation. They'll be saying Om. They will look so peaceful, isn't it? I mean to say, the Mayavadi saints and philosophers, they look more peaceful than ISKCON devotees. ISKCON devotees, they're like hoo ha ha, Hare Krishna, hi. Mayavadi philosophers, Om Namo Narayana, and there's a big dot here, very peaceful, serene. It's a different take altogether. So these Mayavadi philosophers or saints are more peaceful, but then Prabhupada says that they must continue to lament. But they lament. Now, why Prabhupada says lament? Prabhupada has written in Bhagavad Gita one verse, with raga bhaya krodha manmaya mamupashrita. Prabhupada writes there, with raga bhaya krodha. Prabhupada writes these krodha, about bhaya and krodha. Prabhupada writes, Mayavadi philosophers and Buddhists, they are always frustrated and always in fear. Always in fear and frustrated. But fear of what? Fear of this material world. And frustrated. And they are frustrated. Frustrated of what? Frustrated of names and forms. Because these Mayavadi philosophers believe in formless, nirakar. So they are frustrated that everything is having names and forms. And names and forms of this material world. Anything which has name and form, that is Maya. It will catch us. So make everything nameless and formless. And that's reality. But that you can do in meditation. because as soon as they open their eyes, everything is having names and forms. So they're 24 hours they're frustrated. Until otherwise they're in samadhi. They're completely cut off. So that is why Prabhupada says they must lament. And Mimamsa philosophers also must lament. Because Mimamsa philosophers are always targeting heavenly planets. And they're targeting heavenly planets, heaven. And they're doing yagyas, and they're talking about heaven and thinking about heaven. But when they will attain heaven, they don't know. Well, you can say even devotees do not know when we will attain Golok. But there's a difference. For them, when they will attain heaven, they don't know. And they can't ask anybody, because they can't even ask God, because God is also under control of karmas. So God is also under control of time and karmas. So they can't ask their karmas and time when we will go to heaven. But we also wait to go to Golok, but we can ask and pray to Krishna and have a hope that some answer will come from that side, from a person. But they don't have any person to ask and to hope for who can help them. That's why they are completely frustrated and lamented. So that is why Prabhupada calls them Shudra. So now we understand, isn't it? By many people, many people they were like many people, when they read Prabhupada, they say Prabhupada is written some audacious purports, and this is not good. It is blasphemy. They're blaspheming Sankhya and Mimamsa philosophers. They're also philosophers. You should respect them. But if you really understand, and if you really, go deep, then as I have explained, Prabhupada is absolutely to the point. They are Shudras, that's all. Shudras means, what is Shudra? What is the full form of Shudra? Shoka dravyati iti Shudra. Shoka dravyati iti Shudra. Shoka means what? Shoka means sorrow or lamentation here. Dravyati means whose heart is always full of, whose heart melts and full of lamentation and sorrow. That is Shudra. Srila Sukadeva Goswami therefore said to Parikshit, that's why Sukadeva Goswami said to Parikshit, those who are materially engrossed, being blind to knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subjects for hearing in the human society, O Emperor. Those who are materially engrossed, being blind to knowledge, have many subjects for hearing in human society. See? That's the point there. So Mimamsa followers are of course materially engrossed. They want to go to heaven. They are completely, Mimamsa philosophers are actually quasi-material, isn't it? Mimamsa philosophers are quasi-materialistic. Charvak is completely materialistic philosophy. There's no God, no heaven. Whatever you see here on the earth, that's it. There's no afterlife. Mimamsa philosophers are quasi-materialistic. They think there is God, there is heaven, there is afterlife, but ultimately the aim of life is to enjoy heaven, to enjoy materialistic facilities within this material world. So they are actually quasi-materialistic. That is why they are blind to knowledge of ultimate truth. For ordinary persons engaged in material activities, there are many subject matters to understand, because such persons do not understand self-realization. So Srila Prabhupada writes here that Shrotavyadhyani Rajendra Nam Santi Sahasrasha. Prabhupada writes there are so many subjects we can discuss in this material world, and that's endless. I mean to say, even if you take one branch of knowledge, and that's, you can spend your whole life. You can spend lives after lives, but it will not end. You can spend your whole life in Ayurveda. You can spend whole life in studying one hair of your scalp. You can spend your whole life. There are scientists doing that. Some scientists spend their whole life on ants, or maybe the leg of an ant. But some scientists spend their whole life in studying one molecule in a body, and they're so happy. We study this molecule whole life. That's why, I mean, the physicists, they spend their whole life in one neutrino. Like within atoms there is nucleus, neutrons, protons, and then within neutrons, protons, then there is neutrinos, and fermions, bosons. And one scientist will spend whole life on neutrino, one scientist will spend whole life on boson. You can do it, it's endless. Just like spiritual word is endless, material word is endless. Om Purnamida Purnamada Purnat Purnam Udachyate. That's the whole idea there. Purnamidam Purnamada. Spiritual word is Purnamada Purnamidam. Spiritual word Adha means that. Spiritual word is complete. Idam means this. Material word is complete. Everything is complete. That's how it goes. Purnamidam Purnamada. Oh, that's okay. I don't want more than that. That's all. So that's what they say, because this material world is complete. That's why they say have many subjects for hearing in human society. Shrotavyadini Sahasrasha. There are many subjects, and even one subject is endless. That's how it goes. So if we are blind to knowledge of ultimate truth, then we can spend entire millions of lives in this material world. Material world is designed in such a way that you can spend eternity in this material. You can spend, Maya has designed it in such a way you can spend eternity here, and you can spend eternity very happily and excited and with a lot of excitement, because there are new things. You can keep on doing. It's like spiritual world. This material world is a reflection of spiritual world. Spiritual world is eternal. Spiritual world is you can never become bored of spiritual world. Similarly, you can never become bored of material world. It's like that. Of course, we become bored in material world by doing one thing, but then there's another thing. In spiritual world, you will never become bored even doing one thing. That's the difference between spiritual world and material world. In spiritual world, you can keep on doing the same thing again and again. In material world, you cannot keep on doing the same thing again and again, because material world is different. That's not spiritual world. But Maya has designed this in such a way that actually you can, that if you become bored of one thing, she will provide another thing. So she will not let you get bored. She will not let you get bored. There's so many things under the sun. The principle is the same. Maya knows Krishna keeps living entities in spiritual world by keeping them engaged and excited. So Maya says, okay, if that's the principle, I'll do the same thing here. I'll keep them engaged and excited. But I can't do this with matter, because matter in inherent is boring. So I will produce a lot of matter, lot of varieties, unlimited varieties, so that they will not become bored. So that's the idea. Those who are materially engrossed. So the idea is we cannot get out of this whole material world. We cannot get out of it until unless we have some knowledge of ultimate truth. Otherwise, it's very difficult to get out of this rat race and this being absorbed in material world, because you might think, okay, one day I will become bored and then I will take to spiritual life. That's not going to happen. And that's why they say here, Sahasrasha. There are thousands and thousands of subject matter. You can keep on changing. So this philosophy that when we become bored, then or frustrated, then we will take to spiritual life, that's the wrong philosophy. Or in old age, I will take to spiritual life, isn't it? But in old age, you will have some other thing to do. In super old age, you will have some other thing to do. They will never exhaust. Maya has food for everyone. Food for children, food for young, food for adults, food for old, food for super old. She will engage them. She is very expert in engaging. She knows how to engage. So that's how it goes. So just give me a minute. So that's how it goes. It's interesting. Huh? This one verse is full of so many things. Apashyatam atmatattvam griheshu griha vedinam. So the idea is the trick of Maya is to engage you in varieties and not that you get bored. Then if you really think the reverse way, The trick of Krishna consciousness is to engage in varieties and not getting bored. And so you can actually translate this verse in another way. Shrotabedini Rajena Ninam Santi Sahasrasha Apashyata Matmatattam Griheshu Grihamedinam. You can change it. Shrotabedini Rajendra Bhakta Nam Santi Sahasrasha Pashyatam Atmatattvam was that Atmeshu Atma Medhinam. Yeah. Atma Medhinam means who are intelligent to understand Atma. Or it should not be Atmeshu, it should be so Mandireshu Atma Medhina. You can write like that. You can change this verse. Rotavaniti Rajendra Bhaktanam Santi Sahasrasa Pashyatam Atma Tattvaha Mandireshu Atma Medhinam. Simple. So you can so every verse of Bhagavatam you can reverse it and understand what's happening in spiritual world. If Bhagavatam verse is referring to material world, you can reverse it and understand what's happening in spiritual world. If Bhagavatam verse is referring to spiritual world, you can reverse it and understand what is happening in material. What's the reflection? So the translation of the changed words will come like that. Those who are spiritually engrossed, being blind to knowledge of material world, have many subjects for hearing in spiritual society. Oh, this will become like that. It will be interesting translation. You can change it like that. And that's truth. That's truth. And that's the secret of Krishna consciousness. Secret of Krishna consciousness is to engage yourself in varieties of activities. That's why Prabhupada says, that's why Krishna has provided Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So many things Krishna has provided. Because he that's what is living entity's nature. Living entity's nature is to engage in variety. Variety is mother of enjoyment. And that's completely opposite of Mayavad, isn't it? Mayavad says we are fearful of variety. We want to cancel variety and we want to become formless. No names and forms. And that's why Prabhupada calls them Shudra. One of the meaning of Shudra is who laments always. Another meaning of Shudra is who have no higher knowledge, who are completely confused, who are always confused. So Mayavadis are completely confused to the limit that they're thinking just the reverse of ultimate truth. In that sense, they are materially engrossed. They're not thinking about something spiritual. They're thinking of something about speculated thing. So they're materially engrossed. For ordinary persons engaged in material activities, there are many subject matters to understand because such persons do not understand self-realization. So one must therefore be educated in self-realization so that under any circumstances in life he will remain steady in his vows. That is the whole idea. The Prabhupada says we must be educated in self-realization. Prabhupada brings another actually here Prabhupada brings the word knowledge. Tadvidha. Neha sochanti tadvidha. The word uses tadvidha. Tadvidha means who knows. Vidha means know. Tat means that. Who has the knowledge of ultimate truth. So that means you should be Vidha. Vidha means Vidvan. From Vidha, Vid word comes Vidvan. Should be Vidvan. You should be knowledgeable. Should be self-realized. By knowledge, by knowledge only we can understand what is Mimamsa, what is Sankhya, what they believe and what we believe. And by understanding wrong concepts, we can appreciate the right ones. That is called Vivek, wisdom. So that is why Prabhupada says we must therefore be educated in self-realization so that under any circumstance in life, he will remain steady in his vows. That's the whole point. Prabhupada says to be determined in spiritual life, we need knowledge. We need to be educated in that knowledge. Otherwise, when the time comes, we will not be able to become steady in our vows. We will not be, we will not become steady in our vows. Isn't it? So that's the whole point there. That is this whole verse all about. So that is why you see Prabhupada actually, I just want to comment here, Prabhupada started the society ISKCON, and Srila Prabhupada, he wrote the manifesto of ISKCON, and the first point in that manifesto is to educate the people, to educate in general people of the society. And Prabhupada writes that the first point is of education, to give a systematic education to the people of the society, to bring the word peace, something like this Prabhupada writes there. Prabhupada's always, the main motto was education. That's why Prabhupada was writing books, Prabhupada was printing magazines, Prabhupada wanted to open a Vedic college with every temple, ISKCON temple, Prabhupada said, a Varnashram college, that people get trained. People just don't come to temple and have darshan and go. And that's why Prabhupada opened temples. Prabhupada said, I open temples so that people can come and take education. Prabhupada said, these are not temples, these are schools, these are universities, our temples. So this knowledge is important. Without knowledge, we can pass our life sentimentally in Krishna consciousness. But yeah, you can practice Krishna consciousness sentimentally. That's okay. You can chant and be happy and take prasada and keep on going and do some service. That's okay. But Prabhupada says, when circumstances will come in life, then we will not be able to be steady in those circumstances. Our Krishna consciousness will actually waver. The test of Krishna consciousness is our reverse circumstances. The test of Krishna consciousness is not favorable circumstances. And that's why gopis are the greatest devotees. Gopis were put in the greatest reverse circumstances. Krishna left them. Pandavas are greatest devotees. Why do we appreciate Pandavas? Because they were put in such circumstances which are actually unimaginable. And that's why their devotion, so that is why today we praise them. Srila Prabhupada had reverse circumstances in his life, and that's why we praise him. So the love of God is tested in bad times and not in good times. That is the whole idea. And that is why many people say, why these devotees suffering? Why that devotees suffering? They are so nice devotees. Well, Krishna has put them in bad times to actually increase their love for him and to show to others and to actually test their love, how much they will stick to me. It's difficult, but it's difficult. I mean, it'll be difficult. Prabhupada doesn't say it's not difficult. Prabhupada says, but he'll be steady in his vow. He will keep on going. He will keep on going. That's the whole idea there. So in that sense, knowledge will be very important in Krishna consciousness. We should always read Prabhupada books. We should take knowledge. That's why we are doing this forum, so that we can understand things. I mean to say, we can say, well, why to discuss all these things? So technical, Mimamsa, Sankhya, so many types of Sankhya, Anitya, temporary but real, and what's this happening, But what is this happening? What is happening is, you might say, how does it relate to our prasadam or our cleaning the floor of the temple? It doesn't relate anything. Anyway, we are doing. But the idea is, when we understand philosophy nicely, then our vivek, our discrimination becomes very strong. And then we can discriminate, because you see, Prabhupada is talking about Maya and Sankhya philosophy, Mimamsa and Sankhya, but actually in the modern world, Mimamsa and Sankhya philosophies, these wrong philosophies are expressed in different forms. They're still there. You might say, okay, we don't find any Karma Mimamsa philosophers now. But there are karma mimamsa philosophers. I mean to say, scientists want to go to moon. They are karma mimamsa philosophers. That's all. They come in form of scientists who want to go to moon. And what about Sankhya philosophers? Sankhya philosophers are there who say everything is illusion. There are people. There are scientists who talk about that everything is matrix, everything is quantum phenomena ultimately, and it's not there. It's there and not there. So these philosophers, you see, philosophers change, but philosophy do not change. People change, but philosophy is always there. And that philosophy is there with different people. Sometimes philosophers have that philosophy, sometimes scientists have that philosophy, sometimes some kind of other branch will have that kind of philosophy in different form. Communists, politicians, communists are Mayavadis. They say, communist says everything is equal. That's Mayavad. Remove all distinctions and varieties. So same Sankhya philosophies appear in form of science, in communism, politics, in economics, in social setup, liberalism. Everything should be given equal rights, no distinction. So that is why it's important to understand these philosophies, because then you can identify in the modern society who is who and then preach them. Because the anti-arguments will be the same. Once you pin down the philosophy of that person, the anti-argument is the same, and then you can preach them. And also, to safeguard ourselves, I mean to say, many devotees are pro for liberalistic philosophy. They don't understand. Liberalism is Mayavad. It's complete Mayavad. But that's wrong, because they have not read things. So to safeguard ourselves from wrong philosophies, we need to understand what Prabhupada is writing in the Prabhupada. Prabhupada is not wasting time by writing all these things, isn't it? The Prabhupada, there has to be some significance in the modern society, what Prabhupada is writing. Actually, when Satabuddha Prabhu, or Satsuru Maharaj, he was saying, he writes in Prabhupada Leela that when he was reading Prabhupada Gita, then these foreigners were thinking, why Prabhupada is mentioning in Bhagavad Gita Mayavad? What is this Mayavad? So much Prabhupada is criticizing Mayavad, and they were thinking, why Prabhupada is saying so? But then Kirtanand Maharaj and Satsuru Maharaj, when they went to India, then they came to know why Prabhupada is writing about Mayavad. So India is full of Mayavad. And then much later they could understand that the whole world is full of Mayavadis. In India, there are Mayavadi sannyasis. In America, there are Mayavadi scientists. Modern science is another form of Mayavad. I mean, it's a postmodern science, because according to quantum phenomena, everything is there and not there. It's very illusory phenomena. In fact, even if you don't take quantum physics, still modern science is almost like Mayavad, if you really think about it. Or maybe at best karma mimamsa philosophy, modern science. Because there are some scientists who believe in God, but they don't believe that God is in full control. There is God. He has made everything. He has made a clock, and the clock is moving itself. That's how they explain. So they're like karma mimamsa philosophy, isn't it? So as you see, we can understand why Prabhupada is writing all these things, and Prabhupada is saying they'll keep on lamenting, and we must give them modern education, so that they can understand absolute truth, ultimate truth, and perfect their lives. But Prabhupada says those who are materially engrossed, it's very difficult to educate them. Prabhupada writes in the Prabhupada, isn't it here? It is difficult to educate a person in illusion. But that's what we are doing. It's difficult because they're engrossed. It's difficult. Why it's difficult? Because they're engrossed in the subject. To get them out of their engrossment, we need to be pakka in our philosophy. Otherwise, we'll not be able to explain them and get them out of their engrossment. Explain them easily. The more philosophy you know, the more easy your message will be. So it will not be the other way around. You might think, okay, the more philosophy we'll know, the more jargons and the words, and it will be a difficult message, So keep it simple. Don't read so much philosophy. But it will be the other way around. More easy and the more realized points will come in your talks. Why? Because philosophy will help you to see reality. And the more you see reality, you hear things. But with philosophy, you will see things. So a person who hears something, he will not be able to explain nicely in comparison to a person who sees that thing. He has seen, it's clear to him. That is why Prabhupada is bringing all these points here about philosophy, education, training. Prabhupada wants every member of ISKCON to be get trained and to read philosophy. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. It was very nice philosophical class today, actually. So explaining about all the different philosophies which we have. And the only thing we have to follow is only Prabhupada's philosophy. That is the God's philosophy, which he had mentioned on all his scriptures. And I just like the point where you told that Maya engages us in different ways. But it is our choice that we have to engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness. But even in Krishna consciousness also, we have so many services where it keeps us engaged more than the Maya, which does us. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this nice, wonderful class. So, devotees, any questions or realizations? Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Okay, I don't think so. Yeah, Gail Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it was very intriguing to hear you explain that these various philosophies are present in our modern day world. So a couple of things you touched on was that Mimamsa philosophy is present in our
Actually, Gail Mataji, we can't hear. Your voice is not clear.
Oh, okay, I know why. One second. Okay, Prabhu. Yeah, I had to take off my lousy headphones.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I was saying that it was nice to hear you explain that our philosophies are present in our modern day world, And so I just wanted to get a little more elaboration on, for example, how Mimamsa philosophy is present in the scientific world. So the way I understand Mimamsa philosophy is that, the idea is that things, if the right elements are in place, things will happen automatically and mechanically, and even though people who adhere to this philosophy believe in God, it's almost like they, kind of take God out of the picture because, they feel that as long as the right systems are in place, things will happen like automatically. And so is this how this is like parallel to scientists?
You're right. Yeah. That's all. That's how it's parallel to scientists. You're right. Correct.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to liberals, right? So my concept, I'm completely ignorant about politics completely, but the way I kind of understand liberals is that they want to see everybody as equal, even though everybody obviously has different bodies and therefore different skills and so on. But despite the fact that the liberals see that everybody has different skills and capacities, they still want everybody to be treated equally, as if to say those differences don't exist. So is that the way I should understand that they are like Maya bodies?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, perfectly correct.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. I just wanted to get this, my understanding confirmed. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Shubhakar Krishna Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Keshavanand Prabhu, Dandal Pranam. My voice is audible? Is it audible? Prabhuji, I'm just asking, this karma mimamsa philosophy, is it necessary to know all these things? Because what from Prabhupada we understood is we should get out of the dualities and we should know Krishna is the boss and we are das. We have to do the chanting, which is the Brahmastra for a devotee without aparad. And Shikshasakam, third verse. These things, if we follow and we never feel we are doing anything, everything, he is a doer and we are just Katputli. If you do that, that's enough. No, there is no need to go and know more philosophy. Just if we stick to these things and read the whole Bhagavatam again and again, Chaitanya Charitamrita, will it protect us to go back home, back to Godhead?
Well, I mean to say, we will not be able to stick to them without philosophy. It's difficult to stick to these principles because there are so many subtle misconceptions which will come in our mind, which we even don't understand ourselves. And that will destroy our humbleness, our purity in our subconscious mind. And then we'll not be able to really please Krishna perfectly. So that's why, I mean, that's why philosophy is, you see, the question is it necessary to do philosophy if we are doing all these things? Well, philosophy is a language of devotion. So we are practicing devotion. I mean to say, so we are trying to say, okay, so can I talk in Sanskrit, and can I be expert in Sanskrit without understanding Sanskrit language? Doesn't make any sense. Without Sanskrit language, you can't do all these things. So chanting and humbleness, service, all this, if you want to talk about them, then the language is philosophy. So without language, we can't write a script. This is all script, what we are practicing, art of Krishna consciousness. But we need a language to make ourselves understand what we are doing and to make others understand what they have to do. So people who don't know philosophy, they might be practicing, but they don't understand what they're doing completely. Now you might say, well, we understand, I understand. We understand what's humbleness, what's chanting, but no. When we hear two devotees who know philosophy, then we will know, oh my God, so much time I was chanting, but I didn't understand what is chanting. So much time I was doing service, but I didn't understand what is the attitude behind service. So all these have to be, that's why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, whole life he was talking philosophy. All our Goswamis, they wrote books on philosophy. Why they wrote? Because what we are practicing, that's a what of Krishna consciousness. But philosophy will provide you the why of Krishna consciousness. Why you are doing what you are doing. Without why of Krishna consciousness, what we are doing, it becomes ritual. It doesn't give any result. Niyamagraha. And Rupa Goswami says, Bhakti pranashyati, that will destroy our bhakti. Rupa Goswami says that. So we need philosophy, isn't it?
So philosophy means what you're talking, that's the philosophy. You have to read and explain to others. Is the Jivadaya you're telling? Philosophy means the knowledge.
No. We have to, philosophy is a language of Krishna consciousness. We need to know why we are doing what we are doing. For ourselves also. So how people will know why they are doing what they are doing? So then they don't understand why they are doing what they are doing. Then it becomes niyamagra, it becomes ritual. They don't advance. They don't go back to God. Isn't it?
Yeah. So that means what we are hearing from Prabhupada's lectures and all Radhanath Maharaj and Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, when we hear regularly and we try to give that knowledge to others, that way also we learn philosophy. Whatever we are, every day we are doing Bhagavatam in the morning, Bhagavad Gita in the evening, and taking classes, Zoom class.
We can learn philosophy like that, but we might not even learn. I mean, there are many people who are attending all classes and 24 hours they are hearing on YouTube, but their philosophical level is zero. Philosophy.
So can you tell philosophy means what you are exactly meaning by philosophy? Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita.
We have to read philosophy will come from books only. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, that will come. But we have to read these books with an outlook to understand philosophy, because people read these books some people read books for stories. Srila Prabhupada has written a letter to Hamsadut Prabhu in 1967. And Prabhupada and Hamsadut Prabhu, he wrote a abridged version of Bhagavatam, of Krishna book, Bhagavatam, 10th canto. And Prabhupada wrote back. Prabhupada wrote back. This book is not a good book. So I don't appreciate it because we are not interested in stories. We are interested in philosophy behind the stories. So we are not interested to publish this book. He wrote to Hamsadut Prabhu. So that's the whole point there. So with an outlook to understand philosophy, when we read, then we will, and when we hear, then we will catch it. Otherwise, we can hear, we can read, but we will simply be engaged in stories, or we'll be engaged in some kind of entertainment like that.
That you are meaning that to make whatever has been written, to make an application value, how it can be used in life. That is philosophy.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, something like that. That's true.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very nice.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I think where is Keshavanand, Prabhuji?
Dhanvat Pranam Mataji, and then Pranam Prabhuji, everyone. Keshavanand Prabhuji, I feel that there are two elements like philosophy and mental speculation. These two things Prabhupada has mentioned. And for me, whenever I read our philosophy, I feel so much satisfied. And every time I go to, hearing our Gaudiya, it doesn't raise me any questions or anything. Everything is very acceptable and satisfying. So my question is whether materialists and others, therefore, do they feel this kind of satisfaction or not? That is that kind of thing. Because unless you feel satisfied, you will always feel a kind of dissatisfaction or lamentation or looking for something further. But as soon as we read our Prabhupada's purpose and chant and other things, we feel quite satisfied about it. So is this the feeling they also feel in their own philosophies or not? That's what I was wondering.
Other philosophers.
Just like Mimamsaks and others, do they feel satisfied?
They also
with their
feel
own?
satisfied when they read that philosophy. Yeah, everyone. That's why they are into that philosophy, isn't it? Everybody
But
feels.
aren't they lamenting also? You say they also lament. Sudras
yeah, they
like
lament.
that.
Simultaneously, they lament and they feel satisfied. It's like both. I mean to say, the lamentation is there, but the satisfaction is there that we are on the right path. In Maya path, everything is illusion. That's why they become sannyasis, and if you ask them, they say, it's nice. But at the same time, they're lamenting. And that's what Prabhupada says, they are confused, they're bewildered.
Confused. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, you were saying that they lament, right? So, lament in the sense, what they do lament? About their philosophy, they are confused. That's what you meant?
No, they lament seeing the material world, that they are in this, surrounded by names and forms, and they're frustrated by names and forms. They want to make everything formless, but as soon as they open their eyes, everything is having form and names. So they're completely frustrated always.
Okay. So, again, Gaurangi Mataji. Gaurangi Mataji, do you have any question?
Okay.
Okay. Then we can go to Radha Jyoti Mataji. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, I'm sorry. Can I go?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, Mataji. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wanted to ask what is the best or most effective way to go from, I'm sorry, let me see. This is whisper. Yeah. What's the most effective way to go from simply hearing to seeing, which I assume you mean, having realization, not just hearing, just, but realizing.
Yeah, I mean, the most effective way, going from hearing to realizing is, first thing is the desire to realize.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first step.
Yes.
And if that comes, 50% work is over.
Okay.
And then the second step is to find a person who is realized and who can explain you and who can show you. So we have to find a devotee who can show you that thing which he has seen, and then we can realize it. Otherwise, it's impossible. Just by books and our own thing, it's impossible. You need a devotee, a good devotee, who can show you. I mean to say that we can hear their lectures or something, but we need realized people. We need to hear realized people.
If we are hearing from realized people, right, people who make us feel like, yes, I see how this is true, right? Is this what you mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and they will be able to explain it very easily because they have seen it.
Very nice. Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Radha Jyoti Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat pranams to you. Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranam Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question to you is, you mentioned that more the philosophy we know, our message will be very clear and easy. It won't be critical. So my question is, you also mentioned that the liberalism is also a Mayavad or the scientist. Then there is different kinds of Mayavad. But we understand by understanding the deep philosophy. Again, that deep philosophy is not just like reading the books and getting
Mataji,
the
Radha
depth.
Jyoti Mataji, ask question in one line.
So
I
that
don't want
is
to
what
read this paragraph.
that is
Just
what I'm
one line.
asking.
Yeah, what's the
That is
question?
what I'm asking. That is what I'm asking. It is not easy to understand the philosophy which by reading the books and the realizations that you told. To what extent it will lead to the steadiness of the vows?
Well, so you have to hear devotees who are realized. Otherwise, you simply read books and don't hear to devotees who are realized, then it will not help. Then we'll fall down after some time. That's all.
Because philosophy is very vast, Prabhuji.
Yeah, somebody needs to explain it. Show it to us in Prabhupada books.
Prabhuji, Srila Prabhupada books are not only books, they are the conclusions from many books, I feel so.
Yeah, but then somebody has to show that. Somebody has to show you. Give you the eyes to see what Prabhupada is written.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Manmohan Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhu, am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I just have a simple question. Like you said that philosophy is knowing why you are doing what you're doing in Krishna consciousness, to know what you're doing, why you're doing it. So isn't it enough to know, like, no, we are doing everything to go back to Godhead? to go to Golok Vrindavan? Isn't it the only philosophy that we are the ultimate philosophy that we are just pinpoint where actually our bullseye is like we want to go to Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan. That is the only, everything circles around that. That's what we are doing. Why we are doing is to go to Vrindavan, Golok, back to Godhead. Isn't it enough to know that itself? Isn't it enough, or we have to just go and to know all the Mimamsa and all these philosophies?
Why Prabhupada is writing then? Why Prabhupada is mentioning? If that was enough, Prabhupada wouldn't mention.
Yeah, you also Prabhupada ji also said that like when you're saying that all the going to the moon and everything, science is a liberalism and it's all thing is Mayavadi. He also mentions somewhere like in US, like they are advanced in science and India is advanced in spiritual. So a lame man is there as a blind man example which he gives. Like a lame man is there and he is like he is not able to walk. So like both are needed and equally he gives importance to both.
So how does it connect to what we are talking about?
No, so if you are saying that this going to the moon and the science is all Mayavad, then we have to, but we are actually we need the science also to progress along with the spirituality.
Yeah, so Prabhupada said that that if you get a jewel in dustbin, you can use it. The philosophy of science is wrong, but the technology is not wrong.
Okay.
Technology we can use, but we are talking about philosophy of science.
Right. I got it. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, devotees, for asking nice questions. Gaurav, Prabhuji? Gaurav, Prabhuji, are you there?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I wanted to ask, should we devotees read philosophy as a subject, like as in different from Prabhupada books, just for the sake of it? Would you advise that?
Well, I mean to say, we read Prabhupada books. Most of the things that Prabhupada has handled in his purports. But if somebody wants to read, that's not bad even. I mean, but first we have to read Prabhupada books, because if we keep on reading so many other books, then they have their own viewpoint of that same philosophy, the author, and then we'll become confused. So we can read Prabhupada books and then we can get a hold of all the philosophies, and then if we are interested, we can read other books also. There's no harm in that. But first is first, second is second, like that.
Yeah, so actually I did, because it was a part of my syllabus as an academic syllabus, and I felt that I did feel like it's quite confusing. So there's no single source from which I can say, okay, this philosophy I can completely understand from this source. So if someone wants to do that, like what source would you recommend?
You can do that. That's okay. You can check multiple sources and do it. There's no harm.
But like, how to check the credibility of that source?
Well, just read, and then if you have any confusion, ask somebody. That's all.
Okay.
That's a best
Thank you,
way.
Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Shukakar Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Prabhu, sorry for one more question. Actually, I when I read, I get sleepy. But when I hear Prabhupada's lecture and other lectures, I'm able to understand. I make notes. So is it that if I hear all Prabhupada's old lectures, that's enough? Because reading, I'm not able to read for more than half an hour, 1 hour, and get sleepy.
Okay.
So is it wrong?
That's okay. No, that's okay. We have to understand the concept. That's all, by hearing or reading, whatever.
Yeah, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Mm.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Madhuha Akula Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji. Please go ahead.
Prabhuji, I have actually two questions. The first one, in the starting of your class, you mentioned Brahmavad and Mayavad. Could you please explain the difference between the both?
You see, I mean, Mayavad think we are God. God is formless and we are God. Brahmavadis thinks God is formless, but we are not God. That's the difference.
Okay, but Brahmavad, they also want to merge into that Brahman, and they believe after, like, liberation means merging into the Brahman. That is what they think, right?
No, Brahmavad don't want to merge because
Okay.
they simply want to go to Brahma Lok, I mean to say Siddha Lok, where there is formless feature of God, and stay there.
Okay. And yeah, my second question is like, isn't knowing the essence of philosophy enough? Like, I kept remembering this pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visiting South India, and there is South Indian Brahman. He's not able to understand Bhagavad Gita, but he's still.
So, but if that was the case,
Yeah.
then why did Mahaprabhu instruct Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami to write books? He could have told them, okay, you take Bhagavad Gita and put it upside down and just cry, and that's a method.
Right.
So
my question.
That particular incident is just to make us understand that bhav is important. In comparison,
Okay.
if we read books without bhava, then God doesn't appreciate. That's all. That's the only point which Mahaprabhu wants to focus on.
Okay. Because for everyone to understand this philosophy so deeply might not be possible. Everybody has their own capacity.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. But at least we should try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Prabhuji, there are questions in the chat. Do you have time, Prabhuji?
No, I don't have time. I have another class.
Okay. Okay, so then, okay, Prabhuji. So thank you so much, actually. So dear devotees, very sorry. We'll take the questions next time when Prabhuji is there. I think we need one philosophy class also from Prabhuji. Prabhuji explained so many nice philosophy, but to my tiny brain, I was not able to understand. Thank you to the devotees for asking the questions, actually. It helped me to understand a bit of what Prabhuji had told. There is some echo. Jayananda Gaura Hari Prabhuji, you have unmuted. There is some echo coming. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much, dear devotees, and thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving us your valuable time and association and coming on the call and giving us nice philosophical class. Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, let's pay our obeisances to Prabhuji. Vancha
kalpadrupya